Welcome to Sideshow's Hot Toys Showcase.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Hot Toys Showcase. I'm Amy.
I'm Guy.
And we're here to show you some of the latest creations from the Hot Toys team from all of your favorite fandoms.
Now, I know we're excited, you're excited. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get to it.
First up, let's take a closer look at two phases of the Moon Knight.
This is the artisan edition of Moon Knight, and now with that portrait and that wool hair.
This is incredible, seeing him unmasked for the first time in the Hot Toys figure.
Absolutely. Now they've gone back and they've kind of added some new elements to the design of the suit that really highlighted a lot of the aging on this one.
Yes, and you're still getting the great articulation capabilities and that immense cape here.
It's a beautiful cape, and it's the most poseable cape I've ever experienced with a Hot Toys figure.
That is high praise. And I love the inner lining. It's got this contrast gloss on the fabric that has these cool kind of hidden hieroglyphs that when they catch the light just right, you're gonna see those emerge.
And you talk snazzy dressers, you gotta talk about Mr. Knight, right?
Yes, head to toe with that fabric texture that I love that Hot Toys has been integrating into these suits, so it's not just a flat fabric look. And we've got some cool callbacks to his other suits as well with those bandage wrapped shoes.
Now both of these do have a swap out masked portrait too.
Yes, and you're going to have LED light up eyes as a display option to really bring the light of the moon home to the Fist of Khonshu on your display. Now, going from the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the comic book universe, we're going to take a closer look at Dr. Doom, who reigns supreme above all right now. From the pages of Marvel Comics, this is the Dr. Doom 6-scale figure by Hot Toys.
This is the year of Doom, and I love when these things fly off the comic book page into 3 dimensions and become a posable figure like this.
Yes, I mean, I think Dr. Doom would say that every year is the year of Doom, but This is so cool because it is even up to the minute with comic book details. We're seeing some of those magic effects on his hands. He very, very recently stole the title of Sorcerer Supreme from Doctor Strange, so Hot Toys has even incorporated that along with classic comic book elements into this design.
I love this cape. I like that it's kind of that drape and then, of course, the big hood, but it's that medieval knight armor that he wears that I really find so interesting, and I love how it looks on this figure.
And they've done such amazing detailing with the sculpture, the layers, you're seeing the rivets, you're seeing beautiful design in that metalwork because of course Doom deserves no less.
And a figure this supreme, this grand, has to have a grand way to show it off, and this base, wow.
Yes, with the banner and the kind of pedestal style display, you are getting a perfect centerpiece for the Supreme Leader of Latveria in your collection, an iconic Marvel villain who deserves a high shelf so that he can always be looking down on you.
Swinging into the world of Spider-Man is Venom from the comics.
This is an incredible piece. I love the size of this piece. You know, usual 6-scale figures have a very kind of human shape to them. This is very not human.
Absolutely, and we're getting to see that symbol. We've all been waiting to see it, that raised bright white spider on there, and of course wraps around the back too.
Yes, and from the comic book transition, we've got the kind of cool color scheme of black with blue highlights that are carried throughout. So this really catches the light very nicely and gives that symbiote a living texture.
Not only do we have all the points of articulation on the figure though, the tendrils can go wherever you choose as a figure. So this is so cool.
They're kind of cute, I mean, admittedly.
Yeah, sure, in a semi-dangerous way.
But you know, it's not Venom without his tongue, and so Hot Toys has given you not only a closed mouth portrait, but you're gonna have 3 different tongue options for that open mouth portrait. And all of those teeth.
Now, of course, if you're dealing with Venom, sometimes you need a little extra.
You know, symbiotes sometimes cause a big problem, and if you've got symbiote problems, you might need a dose of anti-venom. This is the anti-venom suit from Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And this is one of 80 suits in that video game, and I swear I am still working through all of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of suits, but this is a fan favorite.
Pretty essential to the story as well. And so you're getting a lot of those amazing details. Again, with the kind of symbiote combating nature, you're seeing all of the ways that this suit can morph. I love this giant claw fist accessory we've got here.
There are so many accessories and ways that you can manipulate them together that it's almost an infinite amount of them.
And you're gonna get that dynamic figure stand as well, which is really essential to recreating that exhilarating web-slinging feeling of the video game. And you're gonna have the fabric suit with the inverse of the classic Venom look that is still fully articulated and posable, so you've got a lot of great options for displaying this piece.
If you're a Spider-Man fan, the Venom and Anti-Venom are an absolute must in the collection. Now we are looking at more figures from the Deadpool and Wolverine collection, and this collection is very, very nice.
It is extremely nice. In fact, it is the nicest of all the Deadpools. We've got Nicepool here himself.
You know, everybody's wanted the Ryan Reynolds portrait on this figure, and of course, this is an undamaged, shall we say, look.
Yes, this is a little bit pre-bullet sponge. I love the portrait on this. I mean, they captured the softness, the gentleness of him.
Now, you just pointed out something that you thought was really cool, though, and that was the earrings.
He's got a double cartilage piercing. It's so beautiful. He's got the top knot bun. This is going to have the separate rolling eyeballs feature that Hot Toys has also been incorporating into so many of these figures. Posing this would be so zen.
Over 30 points of articulation, so it's going to be easy to do that. But we're used to a little bit of a dulled color scheme with the red and the black, but here, bright and it pops.
And I think one of the most important elements, of course, that even Wade Wilson coveted deeply, we've got golden elements throughout. There's some gold accents on the costume. We've got his golden pistols, even down to the Golden Girl's initials on the katanas as well.
One last golden element is going to be that display base with light up feature, so you can really put the spotlight on your figure.
I do think that this is a truly nice addition to any Deadpool collection.
Now, another surprise cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine was this guy right here, the Human Torch.
A fantastic cameo to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now we have a Hot Toys figure of it.
Look at those flame effects. Those are all attachable. You decide how you want to have those on that figure.
Yeah, you've got so many different options here, and I love that we're seeing this flame spiral vortex piece. You can have him inside of that as well. It also looks great just beside him as well.
Yeah, now, we're seeing him with that cloak over it, but you can remove that cloak, and underneath is that Fantastic Four costume.
Yes, just like they kept this cameo under wraps, you've got the, Wasteland Void Wanderer, but of course you want to see the MCU version of that Fantastic Four suit. There are just so many great ways to display this figure, as you're waiting for him to say that signature line.
Flame on!
And you can quote him on that. If you're fired up for this figure, you can pre-order him now at Sideshow.com. Another Marvel hero from the void. We are here with the X-23 6-scale figure from Deadpool and Wolverine.
This cameo is one I cheered for, and it is a figure I am excited to have. There's so much that comes with this one.
I love this so much. She's got one of those unique looks. I love the feral kind of pose and attitude we're getting here. Really indicative of the Wolverine lineage in her.
Oh, you talk about that Wolverine lineage. You've got the two claws, but the toe claws are the one that really gets me on this figure.
I love that so much, and her boots look phenomenal.
Now that we're down there looking at that base, we get the flame and we're getting the snow, and hint to yet another kind of a cameo peek right there.
Yeah, the Juggernaut helmet on the base is a great storytelling moment here throughout, and it's just so nice to see Laura Kinney back on the big screen. I love seeing this evolution to her character, and an evolution in the way that Hot Toys is bringing these figures. This is a totally new sculpted body. She's gonna have the awesome separate rolling eyeballs feature and multiple hairstyles, so you can get that windswept action pose and a little bit more, neutral stance as well.
She's got a ton of stuff. This is gonna be great. For this and more figures from Deadpool and Wolverine, make sure to follow along at side.show/showcase.
Now let's take a look at a galaxy of Star Wars figures by Hot Toys, starting with a Sith legend brought to life, the Darth Malgus 6-scale figure.
We're used to 6-scale figures being about 12 inches in height, but this Malgus is a lot larger.
Yes, he's very intimidating in stature, and we've got some of those signature Sith elements throughout his costume, but a very, very distinct look to him, especially with that veiny portrait.
Yeah, and we're getting to see so much of that. We're not covered much. There's just that bit of the mouth and that stare and glare that he has. Now, of course, he's going to have an alternate portrait, so there's an alternate way in which to display him. But look at all the power that he harnesses.
Yes, we're seeing a force lightning effect in action, and we're seeing a very unique kind of dynamic figure stand base with that rotating platform with the underlit LED effect.
Yeah, it's a little off axis there. Where is he harnessing said power, defending himself, being aggressive? There's a lot to do with this figure.
This makes a great addition alongside other Sith Legends characters that have been brought to life, like Darth Revan and Lord Starkiller.
Check out this figure and more at side.show/showcase. And if you're going to have the Sith, you're going to need the Jedi, and that brings us to Plo Koon.
Now, Plo Koon is one of the very unique Jedi we got introduced to in the prequel trilogy, and we can see here Hot Toys has done an excellent job recreating his unique Keldor anatomy.
It's a very different look of this. We're used to seeing kind of the humanoid and now getting that alien. You talked about that this is his appearance in Revenge of the Sith, but the figure comes with alternate options that allow us to display it as he appeared in the animated Clone Wars as well.
That's great that they've given you so many different options, especially with the costuming and swap out elements for his gauntlets. And I'm loving the look that we're getting at his very unique hands. There's a beautiful paint job across all of this, really reflecting his unique style. But he's got those unique digits, the fingers, and the way that he holds his lightsaber. His portrait is so unique, especially with that breathing apparatus and then those elements that I'm not sure if those are goggles on his eyes or just how they are on Planet Doran, but it's a very unique look that Hot Toys has recreated here.
It's fantastic that Hot Toys is giving us more members of the Jedi Council, but the Jedi often had to deal with the clones, and there are two right in front of you, Amy.
Fresh off the line from Camino, we have the Clone Commander Wolf 6-scale figure and the Wolfpack Battalion Trooper 6-scale figure. Now, each of these are sold separately, but when it comes to collecting clones, the more you have, the better your army is.
Now, these ones here, I'm liking the change in color scheme.
Yes.
That blue-gray.
We've seen so many different unique iterations of the different clone battalions over the years. Now with the 104th Battalion, we've got that unique wolf design. You're going to see it here in the Clone Trooper's helmet, as well as Commander Wolf's own decals there.
Yeah, they're on the shoulder armor and all, and having all of those options and all of the posability that we're going to get with those, even though they have all that armor.
With the Hot Toys clone pieces, we do see that they come with their signature arsenal of weaponry for posing and detailing, but they also have, all of their unique armor elements and a fully tailored fabric undersuit that really allows you to get maximum flexibility in the joints for these unique action poses. Be sure to bring home the Clone Commander Wolf and Wolfpack Battalion Trooper to expand your clone forces. Now, let's look at another piece from the Clone Wars collection, the Savage Opress 6-scale figure. Now, what Hot Toys has done, I think, is really unique with this piece is they have blended that signature animated style with their realism to bring you this highly unique Zabrak figure.
You talk about the Zabrak on him, we're going to get those horns and that face look now in that bright yellow, but Hot Toys went so far as to give us swap out horns so we can decide how far in his battles we actually want to show him off in.
Yes. Now, I will say the family resemblance, is quite clear between him and his brother Maul with we've got the mechanical arm element here, as well as, the signature angry face.
Talk about a family tradition there, double-bladed lightsabers.
Yes, and you're going to have a lot of great dynamic posing potential with the motion swipe style blades that are also included with this piece. And from head to toe, we've got beautiful costuming elements, those fabric elements, and a lot of weathered metal elements as well. You see the scores, the kind of rusting. He's really been through a lot of battles here.
The combination of kind of the soft good as well as the armor is really going to give us a lot of posability and a lot of action that we can do with this figure.
I will say that this secret Sith has surely made himself known throughout the galaxy. For a closer look at these figures and everything else we've seen so far on the show, go to side.show/showcase.
But that's not all. Let's take a look at some figures from DC.
Starting our dive into DC, we have the dynamic duo themselves, Batman and Robin from Batman and Robin.
And these are in those suits that caused quite the stir. Hot Toys has made sure that they get all of the elements of these suits correct. All the muscles, all of the different ways, and even the way in which the suits move when you pose them.
They've done a phenomenal job with the sculpting element of this and maintaining a flexibility so you can get those dynamic action poses, especially with their signature weapons.
When you talk about the signature weapons, I love the one that Robin's holding here. That's very unique. But the red in that, how it pops against, we're seeing Robin in that black suit, and then the emblem there, kind of a little precursor to the Nightwing look.
Yes, and with their matching character stands, I love that you can see the way that their logos inlay with one another and create the Robin Rang and the Batarang here. And I love the sculpting on the cowl, of course. With every different Batman, we've got so much detail there. You're getting a lot of really cool, scowl lines, as well as the lower faceplate for the George Clooney portrait.
This dynamic duo is sold separately, but they can both be part of your collection at Sideshow.com.
From the silver screen to the comic book page, next up, Hot Toys has brought us the Dark Knight Returns Batman because you can't keep him out of Gotham City for long.
Now this Batman, when we read that comic, he was large, he was lumbering, he was more mature, and we get that in this figure, particularly the size.
Yes, this is a really impressive piece, and I love the way that they've realized all of those unique, iconic elements to the comic book artwork in a three-dimensional figure, especially bringing in the classic colors.
We're getting in those blues, we're getting the grays, and then that pop of yellow right there on the utility belt.
But it has a great black wash to it. You're getting a lot of nice grime in this. He's got a distressed weathered cape with a wired element to it, as well as those gauntlets, those boots, and of course, the portrait. We've got the iconic short ears. We've got unique swap-out mandibles to really recreate that brutish jaw that he has. This is a very different Batman physique and very different from what we typically see from Hot Toys, bringing, again, comic book proportions into the real world.
Now, this is a dark and dangerous Batman. We're used to seeing him with a lot of gadgets, this time with a rifle.
Yes, this is from one of those iconic stories where Batman is truly pushed to a new edge. And so, like Hot Toys continues to explore really cool and really unique iterations of different characters, pushing the envelope with the physical elements that they offer, the creation, the sculpting, and the costuming of these iconic characters. Now we're on the streets of Gotham City with Batman and the Batmissile from Batman Returns.
Now, these are each sold separately, but we want to tell you everything about how they are right here, starting with Batman. I love the cowl on this. I love the Keaton era of Batman, and this is absolutely beautiful. It's an all-new suit that we saw in the second movie. We got to see the new emblem on there, and they've done a great job of doing that. The Keaton era is by many a favorite, and this comes with a Keaton portrait as well.
And you're going to get some cool display options for the base. We've got an environmental rooftop storytelling base with some swap out elements to it.
Yes, you can decide exactly what area of Gotham you are in.
And if you're traversing the streets of Gotham, how better to do it than in a Batmissile?
Absolutely. When the Batmobile needed to be a little narrower, pop, off it came and became the Batmissile. And Hot Toys has made this one with those moving parts. The front and rear tires move inward, the canopy opens, the interior lights up, and a light-up thrust on the back, Amy.
I want to emphasize this is a massive yet 6-scale accessory for this piece. I love the way in which Hot Toys has played with scale. I mean, we see Batman here in a traditional 6-scale figure, but the range of accessories from the smallest of gadgets to the largest of pieces, they're really pushing the envelope with the way in which they can show us different styles of gadgetry. And now is the perfect time to open your own Batcave or perhaps even garage of Batman collectibles.
We are incredibly excited to show off two pieces from Alien Romulus.
Let's start with Rain Carradine.
Let's. That base having all of those damaged aliens and that face hugger that's on a little wire.
That's a great action element to this piece, and because she is a shorter character in general, Hot Toys has developed a brand new body, and we're seeing a great reflecting of the costuming on that as well.
Well, you talk about costuming, a Wayland shirt as well as the Stomper shoes.
Yes, in sci-fi, I feel like a lot of people have really great footwear, and I love to see an action heroine rocking a tank top.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, she is going to be dealing with this guy over here.
Yes, we've got the Scorched Xenomorph 6-scale figure by Hot Toys, and I love what they've done with the texture and the paint on this. We're getting a really unique bubbled, blistered look to add to that burned element.
Yeah, and that ashy kind of paint job that really allows that detail to show in, particularly around the rib cage. And we have that battle damage right there in the dome that we can swap out. We have two different jaws, and of course that scary second mouth.
But no matter which combination of the figure you choose to display, it is scary every single way. Now, these figures are sold separately, but you can see how incredible they look together. So if you want to add them to your shelf, check them out at sideshow.com. Now let's move on to another classic sci-fi franchise.
Three figures from one of the greatest sequels of all time, T2, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Let's start with the essential T800 model.
Right there, to have Arnold return in the role, to now see him in 6-scale form in that leather jacket and those leather pants. Head to toe is going to be genuine leather, and he's going to have all kinds of things to get him through his mission.
Yes, we can see here he's got some of his signature weaponry, but, you know, he goes through a lot of adventure and action before the end of the story.
Absolutely, and a lot of damage, and that brings us to the T800 battle damage version.
This is one of, I think, Hot Toys' crowning achievements for the Terminator franchise. This is an incredible piece.
And even the damage of the mechanical elements, we have that arm completely ripped off. half of the face completely shredded down there. He has so much going on, and you talk about a way to display this figure. This all new light up base is that refinery from the end.
The color of that scene in the film is so iconic, and it adds so much to the display here, especially bouncing off of those genuine leather costuming elements and the exposed mechanical metallic bits.
Now you talk about metallic bits, the guy who did all this damage is the T-1000 right over there.
Yes, our most advanced model to this point. This is an incredible piece. Now, one of the hallmarks of the Terminator franchise is those special effects, and Hot Toys has found a way to recreate those mind-blowing graphics in a three-dimensional collectible figure.
Yeah, you see how those boots are still kind of coming out of the grate? That's an option that you have. The bullet hits on the front, those are magnetic. You can choose however you do it, as well as 3 different outfits.
Yes, you're going to have so many different options for this piece, especially if you choose to pair him up with any of the other figures that are sold separately, because you can really just bring yourself into the action of the story.
Well, I am bringing all 3 of these home, that's absolutely sure. These are fantastic. T2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day by Hot Toys.
Thank you so much for joining us during the Hot Toys Showcase. If you want to take a closer look at any of the items featured on today's show, go to side.show/showcase.
And as a thank you, we're giving away a chance for one lucky winner to get the Artisan Edition Jack Sparrow 6-scale figure by Hot Toys. To enter, follow the link below.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Amy Chase.
I'm Guy Klender.
And until next time, don't forget to let your geek side show.